This is a video that we've been promising. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
We're kind of late in getting it out. We're sorry. But we just had so many things going on in the last month and a half. It's been crazy. But we promised that we would give you a rundown on everything that we had to do to get our marriage license, to be legally married here in the Philippines. So we'll kind of walk through the documents we did, explain some, we can show some, and describe that step-by-step process that we went through and how long it actually took us to do it. Right here?
Right here.
Right here. Okay, so to get things started, what was the first thing we had to do? Nope. Think about it. First thing we had to do, she had to say yes.
Oh yeah. Of course, dear.
Okay.
So I have to say yes for that.
Yes. So she said yes, she'll marry me. So then, while I was still in Antarctica.
Oh, I forgot. You forced me to marry you.
Yeah, I forced her at gunpoint. While I was still in Antarctica, she was able to get a bunch of documents done ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll walk through is we'll walk through all the documents that we had to get done, and the ones that she did before I got here, she'll explain what she did to get them. So the first thing that we have to get is it's called a C No Mar, or Certificate of No Marriage.
And you're trying to. So I was the one who's working on some documents while my husband was working in Antarctica. I was just repeating what you said. So first thing is the certificate of no marriage. So this is actually a certificate that states that Dwayne Henderson is not married here in the Philippines. So we certify that Dwayne Louis Henderson, who is alleged to have been born on September the parents doesn't appear in our national indices of marriages. So that proves that he is not married here in the Philippines. So it's not only me who needs the certificate of no marriage, but also my husband, of course.
We both need it.
We both need it. Yeah, because who wonders? So Dwayne might have
I might have a wife up in Luzon somewhere.
that I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that they're making sure of that is
Not married in the Philippines.
So both actually requested this one last July 31, 2018. So it arrived in August 16, 2018. So it took about 2
Over
weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks for them to process and to get me the certificate of no marriage. And I requested this one in the Municipal Hall of Register of Nottingham. Yeah. And I guess for you to, if you really wanted to have your Cinemar rushed, there's actually other private institutions that you can process your Cinemar faster, like LBC and other, I don't know
But
what
it's
other
going to
private
cost you
more.
Yes. And speaking of cost,
The cost of the certificate of no marriage is 410
410.
410 each, so it will cost you 820 for 2 certificates. You can say, oh, I only need one because I'm the Filipina.
No, even the foreigner needs to have one as well. And piece of advice to get this: if you are not here in the country with your fiance, you need to send her a copy of your passport so she can use that with all the right information to get your document.
And not send your passport to
Not send your passport, just send a picture of your passport so
Yeah.
she can process it. So
because you will be needing, or your fiance will be needing the relevant information that is being asked for you to get the certificate.
okay.
And next one is the pre-marriage counseling. Now, we had actually a problem with that because it's a law that my husband has to be here for us to be able to do the pre-marriage counseling. Where we have to do that? It is being conducted in the health center.
The health center, yes. But the catch on ours was they only conducted here in Taliban once a week, and that's every Wednesday.
Yeah. So that is your husband has, your fiancé, not your husband, your fiancé has to be here for them to conduct the pre-marriage counseling to be okay for you to undergo the pre-marriage counseling.
Yes.
And
you both have to be here together.
yeah, and get the certificate from the
Health center.
Person.
For the pre-marriage counseling was 150 pesos.
Yeah.
150 pesos.
It's about that. 150 pesos for pre-marriage counseling for you to get the certificate.
Right.
And do they half day?
It takes a half day.
Yeah.
It starts at
9.
9 o'clock in the morning and it finishes by 1.
1.
But ours was a smaller class and they were a little quick and we actually got out of there about 12:30. So it still took 3.5 hours. But prepare for a 4-hour day setting in a rather interesting counseling session.
Yeah, about family planning.
It's a lot about family planning.
About marriage, about relationship, making sure that you're both ready for what you're
What's
going
about
to
to
enter. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got the certificate from them
Yes.
after we did the counseling. You can't get the certificate without the
You can't get it. Yeah, you can't. You have to have that done before you can get your certificate to get married. So next.
After that is the birth certificate. Your birth certificate. So I got mine.
I got mine.
With all the information about your birthplaces, your name, and your parents' name.
Yeah.
And
A standard birth certificate.
That's the only certificate.
Mine is the same, except the only exception is I had to file in the state of Texas where I was born to get a certified copy because I didn't have one with me. So I had to actually have it sent to my brother, and then my brother sent it to me here.
And it took about 2
It
weeks.
took about 2 weeks to get it from Texas to my brother, and then another 3 weeks from my brother to here. So it was about, for me to get this copy, it took about 5 weeks. So.
5 weeks.
But I did most of that while I was still in Antarctica, so it was here when I got here. Our birth certificates.
And I got that birth certificate of mine in the same place, municipal register.
In the town's municipal registrar.
Registrar. Next is the resident certificate. What is resident certificate? So it's not really complicated one. It's just what we call here as Sidola.
Sidola. And
it's like community tax certificate.
It's just a community tax certificate showing that you're registered as a tax person.
Yeah. And I actually paid 60 pesos for that.
60 pesos.
So I still got this one. Either you can get the Sidola in your barangay or in your municipal office. They're okay with that. It's not that expensive. Next is
Marriage application.
oh wait here, I forgot.
Oh.
Does your fiancé needs a Sidola if he is from other country?
No.
They Again, the only required for that cedula is you as the Filipino citizen. Your fiancé from the other country isn't required for that. Next is the
Application.
next is the
Marriage application.
before you get to marriage application,
Was resident certificate was
you
this?
actually need to get the legal capacity because they wouldn't allow you to apply for marriage application.
Oh, I had to get my legal first before we
Yeah.
got. Oh, that's true. Okay, legal capacity. This sounds kind of strange and it's weird the way they have it required. Legal capacity is really going, and if you've been divorced, taking your divorce papers and going to the U.S. Embassy or consulate, swearing an affidavit before a consulate member or a consulate officer, and stating that you are single.
Where's your legal capacity here?
They kept it. They kept it.
Okay.
I don't have it to show you because the registrar, the municipal registrar kept that copy. But it's just a legal document saying, I swear I'm legally single. Or I swear I'm legally divorced and I am able to get married. The consulate officer signs off on it, seals it, and then that is all it is. It cost, I think, around $50 US with the consulate to do it. And it took, what, about 2 hours? Or less. It was less than 2 hours we were in the consulate's office to go in, file.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of people.
There wasn't a lot of people. In Cebu, we went to the consulate office in Cebu, and it was really quick. And the consulate office is located in the waterfront hotel and casino on the basement floor.
City, not on Mactan.
In the city, not Mactan, not at the airport. The waterfront hotel and casino in the city.
Cebu City.
Cebu City, not at the Mactan airport.
We actually went there. What time here?
It's like 9 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning.
and we were out of there before lunch, before 11. Yeah, so it didn't. I mean, it wasn't a very long process, and it was pretty quiet and not too difficult. So you just go in, you give them your documents, you show them.
What document did you give?
My
to them?
divorce. I had to bring my divorce
Show
paper.
them.
I had to show my divorce papers from California. I'll get into the divorce papers in a minute, but that was the only thing. If you're single and never been married, then all you need to do is show up and say
Yeah,
I'm
if you're
single.
single.
Yeah, if you're single, just show up, say I'm single, I've never been married, and swear affidavit that you're single, and you're done. Me, I do the same thing. I just go in, I say, here's my divorce papers, I'm divorced, I'm now single, I can marry again. I swear, they sign the papers, and that's your legal capacity. Okay?
Next is your divorce paper.
My divorce papers. Haha. This is a little bit of a story, short story. I tried to figure out how to get copies of my divorce papers online when I was down in Antarctica. Unfortunately, the state I got my divorce in, that was not possible. My brother tried to get the papers for me while I was in Antarctica, and for 45 days went through a headache trying to get a hold of the court in the county I lived in. Come to find out, it was impossible for him to get it without a power of attorney from me. So it ended up that I had to fly back to the United States from the Philippines.
After days that
Yeah, I was late getting out of Antarctica because we had weather delays down there, so I was delayed a week getting out of there. I was supposed to come here first and spend a couple of weeks to try to do paperwork here. I flew into the Philippines, had 4 days, and then had to fly to the States. Was in the States for 2 days to go to the courts to get my divorce papers, and then flew back to the Philippines after 2 days in the States. So I was all over the world for a week and a half. And it was a pain in the butt to get the papers out of the court. But I got all of them, It's a stack about this thick. And
You realize.
I realized that when I was told that I needed the whole package. But when I went to file the divorce papers, and it actually showed all I needed was the final document of the divorce saying the divorce was
Legal capacity or
the divorce paper itself and the judgment. So in total it was about 6 or 7 pages that I needed, that I absolutely had to have. But I wanted to be safe and not make a mistake and have to do something else. So I ended up having to get over 70 pages of documents copied from the courthouse.
And you paid?
I paid over $350 to get everything I needed. But it was worth it just in case I needed it. But in reality, you need the final judgment and the final divorce decree from the judge with their signature and the date.
Which you showed in the embassy, right?
Yes, and that was, it was like, I think 6 pages or 7 pages total, the final judgment and the final divorce decree. But I had to be safe, I got all 70 pages of the divorce from the court.
Just to make sure.
Just to make sure.
That he doesn't need to.
I don't want to go back and get something else. That's a long flight, back and forth, back and forth.
So your his divorce papers is needed for to get the legal capacity and to show to the registrar in the municipal.
Yes.